So Mitchell and I have something to talk to you about.
So the audio on this episode is absolutely terrible.
It sucks so bad. We're so sorry.
And hopefully it'll be better next time. I'm pretty sure it will be, but just suffer through this one and it'll be better.
Or if you do decide to listen to it and you get like 2 minutes into it and you're like, guys, I just can't. We fully understand. We promise the content is good. It's just very hard to listen to. But we figured out what the audio problem was with this episode. We fixed it. So by the next episode, the sound quality should be much, much, much better.
Thanks.
Bye. Okay, it's recording.
Already?
So, what are we doing today, Mitchell?
I don't know. It's been so long. I don't remember how to do this.
I know, because today is October 9th, and I think the last time we recorded was April 12th.
No, but I think it's the last week in August.
So, yeah, we're only 6 episodes in, and we're already, doing things a month apart. Are we doomed?
It's your fault.
How is it my fault?
Well, now it's October, and we've got movies that we're watching every evening.
That's true.
And I'm lazy.
That's true.
Yeah, it doesn't help with work. It's kind of shifting earlier recently, and I just get home and I want to lay around. So that's what I've been doing.
That's fair.
We've done a lot of stuff in the past month, though.
We have. We've seen lots. We went to Cinema Wasteland.
Yeah.
Did we see concert? We saw Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh, yeah, we did.
I feel like I need a burp, but I'm not going to because I am a professional podcaster. I did it very quietly.
You had a housewarming party.
I had a housewarming party. That happened. Yep. He was in an accident.
Yeah, that you caused.
I did not cause that accident.
You did.
Maybe that'll be my story. I'll tell that story. Should I start by telling that story?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I have 2 of the most wonderful cats in the world, which I think I've talked about on the show before, Hugh and Shanna. They're 1 year and 5 months old, and they're 2 little beautiful black cats, black domestic short hairs. And Hugh is kind of a dog and loves to play fetch, and he's very cuddly and affectionate, and he doesn't lick my face like a dog does, but he likes to rub his face in my face. Anyways, so this house I bought...
Face on your face.
I'll wipe that face off your face. In the house I bought, there was a bag in the basement, a little plastic bag in the basement full of Beanie Babies. And Hugh... Oh, here's one. Oh my God, this one's really cute. What is this? Is this
It's an otter.
It's an otter. And he's chewing on a little green leafy thing. Anyways, so Hugh found a bag full of these Beanie Babies, and there's one that's a squirrel, and that's his favorite. And we like to play fetch with it. So one morning he came into my room and I'm half asleep and we're playing fetch. And I end up throwing it across my room near an 8-foot tall mirror. And Hugh bashed into the mirror running to go catch it, knocked the mirror over, and it smacked into him pretty hard as it came crashing to the ground. And he does not have any major head trauma, but he did have a bloody nose and bit his lip and split his he bit his tongue and split his lip. But the worst part is that he broke one of his little 2 fangs.
Now he's not a vampire anymore.
He's not a vampire. Well, he's a univampire. He's just got the one-sided. He's got a side vampire. Side pyre.
So I don't give a fuck what everybody else says. It's double bad luck.
Oh, yeah, because that was the question. Black cat and 7 in beer. I don't know. I think maybe Hugh got the bad luck, though, because he broke a tooth. So it's really sad.
It definitely wasn't good luck, so that's what I said.
Yeah, so I took him to the emergency room all by myself. Mitchell refused to help.
And they were like, sir, this is a cat.
I took him to the animal emergency room. And yeah, so they gave him some shots so he's not super in pain, and gave him 2 weeks of antibiotics and some anti-inflammatory. And I was supposed to have, well, I had an appointment for tomorrow with this like Cleveland animal dentist who is going to give us a consultation so we can decide whether or not we're going to give him a root canal or do an extraction. And that was supposed to be for tomorrow morning, but apparently he got called into jury duty, so that's now being put off until next week. And because I am an anxious cat dad, the idea of waiting another week like makes me very nervous, and I don't like it. And that's what I was dealing with just like half an hour ago. But I'm going to trust that they, if this were something that absolutely needed to be taken care of right now, that they would say that to me.
Yeah, probably. Hopefully.
Yeah, I asked, and they said that it needs to happen soon, but that it's not like an emergency.
So I'm sure they would know.
Yes. So that's what I'm going through at the moment. That's my story of the day. Mitchell, tell me a story.
My story is going to be basically our whole experience from going to Cinema Wasteland.
Ooh.
So we went all 3 nights, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So they do Cinema Wasteland in April and October.
Mm-hmm.
So basically every 6 months. They show tons of horror movies in the little meeting rooms at the hotels in Strongsville. Sometimes overlapping, but at least continuous, it looks like.
Oh yeah, all through the day, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, from like morning until midnight. Basically, they've got movies showing concurrently in both screening rooms.
Yeah, so we went there. We got to meet and talk to Tom Savini, which was a little awkward, but
well, because at first I was like, Mitchell, don't follow him into the restroom. That's not where he wants to chat with a fan. But Mitchell was like, no.
I'll just go wait for him in his bed. It's fine. Yeah, the whole interaction was kind of like, hi, I don't know what to say. I just want to say thanks. And he was like, well, of course, you're welcome. And we kind of just had to stare down.
And then eventually he was like, security? I'm feeling a little uncomfortable.
But we did on Saturday. Yeah, on Saturday we got to watch My Bloody Valentine.
Yeah, that was Saturday.
And most of the cast and the director was there.
Yes.
And they came in and talked to everybody for a couple minutes before.
The original My Bloody Valentine.
Yeah, the original from 1981. And then after it was over, they did like a whole like hour Q&A panel and just talked about tons of stuff relating to the movie. But it was way more of a different experience than I expected it to have been, because I'd never been there before. So yeah, it was fun.
So how was it different than you expected?
I don't know. I don't really know what I expected it. I feel like I expected it to be more focused around the movies specifically or something. I don't know.
There was also the really awesome exhibition hall that had all of the cool stuff to buy. I got like a Troma t-shirt and a Blu-ray copy of The Baby and a DVD copy of Spookies. And we also got to meet a new friend of ours, David Huffman from Cleveland Cinemas. We have a mutual friend in common, and we got to chat with him a bunch, and that was fun, and meet his fiancée, Nick. So that was cool. Hi, David. Hi, Nick.
And we almost bought the Betamax edition of Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah, David was eyeballing it, and so was Mitchell.
But it was only like $20, but it's $20 everywhere, so I'll survive without it. I mean, plus it's one of those, I mean, at least not that I would ever watch it if it were on VHS, but at least if it were on VHS, we could like be funny and hook up a VCR and watch it somehow, but you can't even, I mean, it would just be literally something that would just be sitting there. But I mean, I buy stuff like that all the time that just sits there, so it's not really a question of functionality, I guess, but still.
We also went to your work food and drink-a-thon.
Oh, yeah, we did. And that was just like, and that kind of is a good transition into our topic this week, too.
Oh, good point, good point.
Because, I mean, it's more or less the same idea, just not a sporting event. We could just dig in then, I guess.
Okay, so I want another beer.
Me too, give me one.
Okay.
So, I can get my notes out. I know what I'm talking about, but there's a lot of, like, details that are kind of insignificant to me that people will probably care about.
Do you want to let them know what the topic is?
Yes. So, what we're discussing is what is referred to as 10-cent beer night.
10-cent beer night.
And surprisingly, I've known about this for a long time. Not really the specifics, but just that it existed at least. And I've kind of since it's been so long, I've told a few people that are close to us what I'm doing. They're like, "Oh, I don't know what that is," and I'm like, "Really? You've lived here your entire life?" And I don't know, just whatever. It doesn't matter. So
I know very little. Can we start with what I think I know?
Sure.
So I think 10-cent beer night. There was a night where I believe the Cleveland Browns stadium. What's the stadium the Browns play?
No, but okay.
Okay. Well, I was thinking it was football. That they offered a 10. So maybe it's not. Maybe it was the Indians at what is now Progressive Field.
Well, then it was. Oh Jesus! I don't even think I had that. Whatever it was called before. It might have been Jacobs Field.
Okay.
Everybody that's from Cleveland is murdering me.
Oh, totally! They're screaming at us. And they offered beer for 10 cents, and it got really out of control. And everybody who attended the show died. And also, do you like how I called the game the show? I'm so gay. Sorry. Please tell us more.
Well, it's pretty self-explanatory on the surface, at least. So basically, it was a Texas Rangers game. Oh no, it was Cleveland Stadium. I have that written down. I guess it was Cleveland Stadium back in '74.
Cleveland Stadium.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I copied and pasted it, so whatever. Somebody's wrong. It's not me.
Okay. And they're playing against Walker, Texas Ranger.
Yes. And
do you remember Walker, Texas Ranger?
Well, yeah.
Okay. I don't know, because you and I have an 8-year age difference, so there's some stuff that...
Chuck Norris kind of resurfaced in the mainstream media there for a long time.
Okay.
You remember that?
I do.
Okay.
But I also feel like Dallas resurfaced into the mainstream media, and you know very little, if not, you know nothing.
That didn't
about
resurface.
Dallas.
When did that resurface?
It was all over LiveJournal in the early 2000s.
Oh my god. When I was like 12. That doesn't count.
Yes. So who wasn't on LiveJournal when they were 12?
Me.
Mitchell. Jeffrey.
Okay, so it was a Tuesday, in case you need to know that.
I do.
June 4th.
Today's a Tuesday.
1974.
It makes it more relatable.
So it was the Indians and Texas Rangers. And I like how, I don't even remember. It's been so long since I made the notes for this. I don't even remember what this was from. It says the attendees were several thousand inebriated, fans. That's this is who was attending.
As in they were inebriated even before they came?
I don't know, but I doubt it. But that's I
don't know if I doubt it, though, because I gotta say, there was a game yesterday, and for those listening who have been keeping track of my personal life, I don't have a job yet, and my job in New York ended, so I have been driving Uber and Lyft while I'm looking for a new job, and at the game yesterday, I was picking up a lot of people who were going to the game at 1:30 p.m. on a Monday.
Yeah,
and most of them had already been doing some drinking.
But things are a lot different now than 74.
You think 74 was less wild? I feel like 74 would be way more wild.
No, I don't think so. I'm probably wrong, but I don't think so.
They had the Hells Angels in the 70s.
Well, whatever. So, regardless, we'll go into the details and everything, but basically, they had this game. At the purchasing of the beers there wasn't an overall limit, but you could only buy 6 at a time.
Okay.
So, you could only get 60 cents worth of beer.
Do we know how much 10 cents in 1974 is now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, in 1974, they normally, I think at the stadium they normally cost 65 cents, which is $3.59 today.
That's really cheap, even because a beer at a
shit bar, you can get a beer for $3.50.
Yeah.
But and now it's $8. Probably,
I'm sure.
8 or 9 at least.
Okay. But so it's 1/6 of the price of a beer. A good deal.
And 10 cents in 1974 is 55 cents today.
Oh my god!
So put that in. Actually adds up because 6 times 5 would be $3. So basically, we'd be spending $3 of our dollars, which is comparable to one of their.
And really, these days, a Snickers bar is $1.
Right.
So really, you can get 2 beers for the price of a candy bar.
Right.
By today's standards.
Right. But like we just said, I should have converted. I didn't convert $8 or what I didn't convert today's stadium prices into what it was today.
Sure.
To see how
just
much
comparing
of a difference.
Exactly. But you just compared what 10 cents is today.
Yeah. So they actually, going back, because my first question is who the fuck thought this was a good idea? Actually, they had one before in 1971, and it was Nickel Beer Day, which is 31 cents today.
So people were better behaved when beers were a nickel, but worse behaved when they were a dime?
I don't think anything happened at that one. But yeah, nothing happened before. So that's why I guess they had another one, because there are events leading up to basically why it got out of control. It wasn't purely because the alcohol was cheap, because if it was, then this one would have been out of control.
Do you feel like there were any situations where somebody ordered a beer and didn't want it and said, "I'd like my Nickelback"?
No.
Nickelback?
No. In 71, they have Nickel Beer Day. 31 cents today. That's even more ridiculous.
That is more ridiculous.
So a week before...
I'm also offended that 3 years later they doubled the price on it. That is outrageous.
It's still 5 cents.
That's capitalism at its worst.
So a week before the 10-cent beer night, our actual event we're talking about, a week before that, there was, because I don't know if you know how baseball works. I don't know if...
I know there's a diamond.
No, not specifically the game, but not specifically baseball, but like they play very like...
I know the guys have cute butts.
They play consecutive games like at one stadium, like several in a row, and then they'll play the same team at their stadium like several in a row. I don't know how many.
I did not know that.
Like during So they were at the Rangers like 6 days before.
So it's like they do a residency.
Sure. So they're...
so Walker, Texas Ranger was here for his residency at the Cleveland Stadium.
I'm talking about the week before. They were at a Rangers game.
Okay. So
at the Texas Rangers, whatever they would be, arena.
At the Texas arena.
There was like an incident and like some kind of brawl. And after everything happened, they were all, like both teams returning their dugout and everything. And the fans were throwing like food and beer and shit on the Rangers fans. Not shit, but you know. The catcher, Dave Duncan, even had to be like restrained from going into the stands to like fight with more fans and everything.
Is he from the Dunkin' Donuts dynasty?
Yes.
Okay.
No, he's like the yo-yo guy.
Oh, okay.
Duncan.
I don't know. I don't know who Duncan. I said okay, so I got your reference. Like, yeah, I'm a cool kid. I know Duncan, the yo-yo guy.
No, like the company.
Oh, Duncan makes yo-yos.
Isn't that the name that's on like those?
I'm sure it is.
Like the pretty famous ones.
Cool.
So after the game, there was a Cleveland reporter. He asked the Rangers manager. He said, "Are you going to take your armor to Cleveland because like all this shit had gone down?" He was like, "No, they won't have enough fans there to worry about."
Oh.
So I think that people like heard that or whatever media that would have been in 74. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's not like now. Like they didn't. Like I'm sure that wasn't being like replayed on TV. So I don't know. Like
it might have been on the radio.
I know, but like but maybe they would replay it on the radio because like what are the odds that so many people would catch it on that like initial? I don't know. So regardless, that was like the fight. Those were the fighting words.
They did have press in the 70s, Mitchell.
I know, but I'm saying like it's not like if something like where that happened now, it would be replayed like every 5 minutes for days.
There was
like,
no
I feel like that
24-hour news system and Twitter.
And there wasn't as much repetition either. Like
sure.
If you didn't catch that news broadcast, then like maybe word of mouth.
I guarantee you, though, like it was probably like there was probably a story in the paper. I mean, there was probably like it's probably all over the radio for a little while, and all the fans were getting all huffled and puffled, getting all huffle-puffled.
So 6 days after that, 10-cent beer night is happening.
Okay.
So I guess they promoted it and everything, and it actually drew. The exact number would be 25,134 fans. Now,
is that more than unusual attendance for them?
It was twice as many as they expected for this game.
Okay.
So not like, there's a few more thousand people here. Like, no, there's literally twice. We only expected 12,000 to show up, and 25 did.
Wow. I want to ask, like, did they run out of beer? But I'm sure that's part of the story, so I won't get into that. But I feel like if it's 10 cents and more than
like that's so much, and everybody's getting even if most people are getting sick, even if half people are getting sick, whatever 12,000 times 60, it's like 72,000 beers, like 72,000 times 12 ounces.
Yeah,
at least that's everybody's getting one serving of six.
Oh yeah.
So the Rangers took an early lead, so that doesn't help at all either. And like also early in the game, Cleveland's Leron Lee hit a line drive into the stomach of a Rangers pitcher. And
wait, I'm sorry, my ADD. I'm so bad with. I think it's because especially at sports, my brain's already trailing a little bit. But I'm sorry, who did what to who?
So Cleveland was up to bat.
Okay.
So the Cleveland team was at bat.
Yes.
And the other team,
they were center stage.
Had a pitcher since they were not at bat.
Okay, so their understudies were preparing.
So the Cleveland guy, Leron Lee.
Yeah. Okay.
He hit a line drive.
No.
He hit it, and the ball just goes like straight.
I know what the pile driver is.
Straight.
It's a wrestling move.
No. It just goes like straight. It's like generally in baseball, you hit it if you wanted to go up in bar. Like this just went like more parallel and vertical.
Oh,
like parallel,
as in like
horizontally.
Okay, yes.
Like just straight.
Not
like,
a straight
like
line.
body
just
level.
Parallel to the ground.
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
So it hit the Rangers pitcher like in the stomach.
Oh, shit.
And he like fell to the ground and everything, and then everybody in the upper deck in the stadium was like cheering and chanting, hit him again, harder.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So like that happened. This isn't just gonna be a conglomeration of things. So that happened at one point at the beginning.
So this is already feeling like fucking Coliseum era.
Oh yeah, everybody's like
they're like ready for blood.
Everybody's drunk probably at this point. A woman ran out.
They're like chanting "Lock her up."
A woman ran out into the Indians on deck circle and like flashed everybody.
Oh,
it's like out in the field.
Well, thank you, random lady. Thank you for your service.
And then a naked dude sprinted out on the second base at one point.
Even better. That's okay. Let's talk about the art of the flasher, though. Like seriously, the flasher was such a beautiful, wonderful part of the 70s. There was that. Have you seen that video clip of when a flasher streaked across the stage at the Academy Awards? It's fucking amazing. Like. Flashers, streakers were like such a thing in the 70s, and it's such a lost art form. Why do you think that is?
Probably because the penalty for that is like you probably get put on some kind of a list now.
Yeah,
because it's more than just like public indecency. Like you're then naked in front of like thousands of people and children, probably.
Sure, so and also if you really want people to look at your dick, you like create a ChatterBait account. You post some videos onto like Reddit or like YouPorn.
I think the stakes are way too higher now to like never be employable again and then have to go tell your neighbors. The
stakes are higher and there are other outlets for that desire.
I would at least tell my neighbors, like, because you know that happens, you have to like go. You have to tell people out if you get convicted and you don't move. Do you still have to tell your neighbors? Or is it only if you move into an area?
Because actually I was having a conversation with that about my neighbor Jim. Apparently we used to have a sex offender who was living down the road.
Oh, I was there for that, but I don't remember.
That's right. Okay. So, and we had a new neighbor who moved into the neighborhood and then was really upset that they were living near a sex offender, and they ended up moving, but they didn't know for a long time. And it's because the sex offender doesn't have to go and then tell everybody who's new.
Right. No, but I mean, if I were already living somewhere, I don't have to like update.
Oh, I think you do, depending on
at this time.
I think it depends on the charge also. Like I think like maybe like public indecency, no, but maybe if you're like, you know, raping 8-year-olds, then probably yes.
Because I'd be like, so I legally have to tell you this, that I'm on this list, but it was because I was streaking at the Indians game. Exactly. They'd be like, all right. So then after like the naked man sprinted on the second base, another inning later, a father and son pair ran out into the outfield and then mooned everybody that was in the stands.
Oh, that's kind of sweet, actually.
Maybe they were holding hands.
That's pretty adorable. Okay, so we now have Lady Boobs, we have Mandic, and we have 2 father-son butts.
Yeah.
This is nice. I guess with the streaker, you also have his butt, too.
So I think that was all like the indecency that at least I read.
And with the streaker, I guess you also have man boobs. The streaker really gave us everything. Like, in retrospect, the mom and the dad, the dad and the son, and and the topless lady, they were being a little prudish.
Why?
Because the streaker gave us everything.
But he came second. He was in the middle. Yeah. It was the woman, and then the streaker, and then the father and son.
Okay, so that's true. So the woman kind of started.
The father and son had to. They upped the ante because it was like a family act.
That's true. In that sense, they did. You're right. So everybody in their own way upped the ante a little bit. Okay, I'll give you that. Well done. Thank you. So the performance was off to a great start.
Yeah. So one of the Rangers, I almost said employees. One of the Rangers players, technically
performers.
His name's Mike Hargrove, who actually, he later managed the Indians after he played for the Rangers. He managed the Indians and led them to the World Series twice. He was there.
Oh.
So he got like pelted with hot dogs and spit, apparently. And at one point,
apparently he likes it if that made him decide to move to Cleveland to work for the Indians. I know. Like every night he goes to bed and he would have like dreams of hot dogs and spit and be like, I should move to Cleveland.
And somebody threw like an empty gallon jug of Thunderbird at him.
An empty?
Do you know what Thunderbird is?
No.
I knew what it was and I forgot.
Wasn't that a car at one point?
Thunderbird is definitely a car.
Okay.
But it was...
I hope they didn't throw an empty car.
It was some kind of alcohol, and I looked it up. It was comparable to something. Let me see.
Is it like Colt 45 or...
Oh, bum wine. So it's like Wild Irish Rose. It's like that line between something that you should even consider drinking at all.
So what was the jug made out of?
Probably glass.
Oh God!
I mean, it's not gonna be a plastic jug back then.
That's true. Jesus.
So all of that has happened, and then there's some, and there was the explanation, I didn't put it in because I don't care. But there was some kind of outrage over another call of a play that happened. So Cleveland got pissed, everybody was pissed, and they started throwing shit on the field, not literally. Someone tossed lit firecrackers into the Rangers bullpen. So how did you bring why did they bring? I just not thought of this. They brought firecrackers?
They were prepared for chaos.
I might need these.
Like the guy with the empty jug, or the woman showing her boobs. Of course, she brought her boobs with her. That's not a surprise. Of course, the bum brought his hobo wine with him. That's not a surprise. Who are these jackasses fucking bringing the firecrackers? That's another level.
After all that, the Indians at one point managed to tie the game, and so this story, this beginning, I'll give you a little bit of backstory. I watched this we should watch this when we're done.
Okay.
I watched this just this 8-minute. I guess you could call it a documentary, but it was just this 8-minute thing that they did on the news several years ago about this whole thing.
Okay.
That's where I got a couple of pieces of information from. But they interviewed this guy that I'm going to talk about, and it's so funny. I have a quote, and I'll go into it, but so a lot of the people are they talked to a lot of people that were there, and this guy specifically because he kind of started the beginning of the end, and other people who were there, and I didn't really realize it too because I'm God, these people are old, but I'm well, even if you were 20 back then, you're at least 60 now. That was 40 years ago.
That's true because 74. They've been born in 54.
I mean, that's 44 years ago. So whatever you were then plus 44 years.
Yeah,
even if you were 18, you're fucking 62 now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. The Indians tie the game up.
Okay. And the game's over, or that's where it's at right now?
It's at this point in the game, it's tied up.
Okay, it's presently tied.
And this guy's name is Terry Jurgic, I think it's
But I'm sorry, can a game tie in baseball, or does it play until it's no longer a tie?
I'm not sure what the be-all, end-all rules are, but you keep going into extra innings.
Okay.
That's what extra innings.
I know, but I also know in football. I recently learned in football you can go, because the first Browns game I ever watched, they broke their losing streak by having a tie after 700 hours of fucking overtime.
Well, I'm sure it's not 2 innings, but I can guarantee you there's a time cutoff, or at least some kind of cutoff. Which that reminds me though. So my dad used to play softball.
Sorry, my phone is going off. I need to put it on silent.
My dad used to play softball with all of his brothers and a couple people when we were little. And my mom swears to me one time when my dad's dad was still alive, he was playing too. So I wasn't born. They were here, well, not Cleveland, but they were in Ohio, a tournament. And it was I don't know if it was the final game of the tournament or one of the close ones. And there wasn't any kind of mercy or time cutoff. And she swears to me that they played until maybe not extremely late, but till midnight or 1 or 2 in the morning or something. And then it was a Sunday night because they were supposed to be done at a reasonable time and drive home. And they didn't get done till late to where they literally drove back from Ohio and got back in time for everybody to go to work in the morning. Jesus. I was that's a nightmare. Playing softball all night and then just
that is
driving
insane.
And then working because it went into 15 or 16 innings or something because it was just I don't know.
I also got to say, I like the way that you say tournament.
What, tournament?
I say tournament.
I said tournament.
You said tournament.
Oh, I didn't.
You pronounce the O and the U. It sounded like you actually say it like it's spelled, which is
no, I might have. I didn't mean to. I usually say tournament.
I usually say
TER.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like you're saying tournament, and I was ooh, that's nice.
Maybe I did.
He sounds like a fancy man.
Well, I fucked it up if I did. All right. So this dude, his name's Terry. He is 19.
Okay.
Which puts it into perspective for me, too. He ran onto the field and tried to steal this Texas outfielder. His name was Jeff Burrows.
Wait, real quick. Isn't the troublemaker in Reno 911 Terry? That's okay.
The gay guy that skates?
Yes. Yeah. So now I'm picturing that as Terry. But still, as you tell the story, that is who I'm picturing doing this. So please continue.
So he runs out of the outfield to try to steal the outfielder and the Rangers. His name's Jeff Burrows. Try to steal his cap. And when I was watching, the reason I brought that...
Can't you see Terry from Reno 911 doing this?
Yeah, but the reason I brought that up about watching the thing, because they interview him, And like in this thing, he's like, I wanted to get his hat. And I was like, that sounds insane, but I can totally relate to that. Maybe not now, but like, especially when I was like 18 or 19, I can totally relate to like being fucked up and just being like, we have to do this right now and doing it. So like, I can just totally understand his thought process of like, I just want to get his fucking hat. And like the way he says it in that news thing is hilarious. Like, cause it's like that same, you can see it in his face.
Sure.
He's like,
why'd you do it?
Yeah, that's what they said. Like, he was like, I don't know, I just wanted to get his hat. Like, he doesn't have an explanation. Like, he's like, I know it's dumb, I just wanted it. So Burroughs, the dude the player.
Okay, whose hat was about to be stolen?
Yes.
Okay.
He's like going to confront him or like do something, and he tripped or did something to Terry. It was like they had an interaction, but it was like an accident. Like it wasn't an actual like confrontation.
Okay.
But like everybody saw this and no. Burroughs tripped. That's what happened. Burroughs tripped, and everybody, like Rangers fans, or everybody thought that like
Terry had attacked him.
Terry had like went out and just like attacked Burroughs.
Okay.
So
Terry.
So the Rangers manager, Billy Martin, generic name.
It is.
He charged.
I'm not offended by it.
So he like charges out into the field, and like all the players come out like wielding bats and shit because they think this like 19-year-old dude just like ran out and like tackled or punched or did something to this player. After like the entire team comes out with bats and is storming, everything goes crazy and just like like the fans just start pouring onto the field.
Oh my god!
And people have like knives and chains.
What?
And they're like,
why are they bringing their knives and their chains and their firecrackers to the baseball game?
So they start ripping up the seats out of the stadium to like use like to beat.
And you
people
think in the
down
1970s people weren't pre-drinking before the fucking game? They're coming to games with chains and knives and firecrackers. They were also fucking drinking before they got there, Mitchell.
Detected. So yeah, they're ripping up seats and they're getting ready to like they might be like going at it and everything. Other like people that are like not close are just not going to go, like throwing bottles and like other shit like from the stands. And there's then like
that's another thing. I bet these were all fucking glass bottles. Oh no, they had to be cans.
No. It was
probably
cans. It was they were being
draft in plastic cups.
Yeah, they were draft. Okay. So it instantly within like no time, it's like 10-1 outnumbering on the field of like Cleveland fans and the Rangers team and everything. So basically that was in the 9th inning. Like the game was almost maybe.
There's 10 innings?
9. Bottom of the 9.
Oh.
So it would have, had something happened, it might have just been over before too long. But since all that happened, the game was actually forfeited and given to Texas, apparently. Which makes it like even worse.
But it's fair if the game's forfeited because the home team is attacking
that's fair.
Visiting team. I think they should go to the visiting team.
Right. So another funny thing I got from that like 8-minute news thing that I watched was that after all of that, they were like talking about how Terry's not a bad guy or whatever. He was actually, and he has the little thing with him, whatever it is. He was actually the Citizen of the Year in Richmond Heights in year 2000. Oh my God.
I'm assuming it was unrelated.
Oh, yeah. It has nothing to do with 10-cent beer night, but I thought that was ridiculous.
And and chances are he's probably alive today.
Oh, no, yeah. This was just from like a few years ago.
2000 is 18 years ago.
No, but I mean, this thing I was watching was not from too long ago.
Oh,
like they were just like talking about him, and they were like,
gotcha.
That was like a side note. They were like, also he was the Citizen of the Year in Richmond Heights or whatever.
That's very funny.
There were like some notable attendees, but it wasn't really anybody I gave a shit about. There was something. I don't know why I didn't add this. Maybe I didn't finish my notes. I didn't add it. But in between innings, like when the teams were switching, there's usually some downtime in between innings and everything.
Okay.
People were just like running on the field and shit. And they were talking. The reason I remember it being.
Did they have security back then? What was going on here?
I mean, yeah, it's not like it was now, I'm sure. And there was a thing, I didn't write it down. I remember reading a thing about like an interviewer was talking to one of the women that were working, serving the beer, and she said it like got so bad, like it was so crazy at one point that like people were almost like riding them, and they just like left, they just abandoned it, their little station that they were working. They were just like, we're not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
You would think that after all of that they learned their lesson, but they actually did it again.
They had another 10-cent beer night.
Yeah.
Once more.
But they limited it to a person. But yeah, like, what was this, June 4th? July 18th, they did it again.
Oh my God.
And there were like 41,000 people there.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, 10 cents. It was 10 cents again.
So you know that the other 16,000 people who came were coming hoping that they could also get in on the mosh pit.
Right. But I don't know. I'm assuming by the way this was written, and I actually forgot about that until now, but it said there was a limit of 2 per person. So I don't know if that was a hard limit but nothing happened to that one. Actually, now looking at the notable...
And also, how did they track your 2?
I don't know. Who knows? They could put a marker in your... I mean, I'm sure it was something that was like workaroundable, but it obviously was not anywhere near the caliber.
Yeah.
Actually, looking at the thing, there was an NBC newscaster, Tim Russert. At that time, he was a student at the Cleveland Marshall College of Law, and it says...
Is that school still around? I've never heard of
I
that.
don't think so. But he was at the game, and there was a quote for him. He said, "I went with $2 in my pocket. You do the math."
That's great.
So it's like about like all you're going to admit.
Exactly.
But yeah, like that's what I was thinking about like this weekend with like going to the work thing. I mean, it might as well have been 10 cents each because it was free. So we would have spent.
Oh yeah, if those beers were 50 cents,
I would have spent $2.
We
or
wouldn't
not 2, I guess. I would have spent $5 anyway. Like.
Yeah, if those beers were 50 cents, we wouldn't have drank any less.
It might as well have been free. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I feel like nothing like that has happened recently that I can think of with alcohol. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and I've got to say that, like, you know, I've always had a natural aversion to sports. I told you the story of when I tried to watch the Super Bowl when I was 12 and failed. Oh no, I was 10. And I failed miserably. And when I came out to Cleveland in May to visit, I went to Twist, being like, "Oh, I'm going to go to this gay bar." And it was when the Cavs were in the playoffs, and the entire gay bar was just fucking playing the Cavs game at like full volume. So I'm just like, I can't get away from sports out here. But I will say, since I've been out here, I will admit sports are slightly more interesting when you're in Cleveland than you are in the rest of the country.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something that I give a shit about, but it's kind of in a meta way. It's entertaining that everybody is entertained by it, if that makes any sense. And like, I still don't give a shit about it, but I like that everybody is entertained by it.
And after having lived here for only a couple of months at this point, I can already like speak a little bit about the Browns.
Yeah, I mean, you don't ever have to make an effort, and you'll pretty much know roughly what their record is.
Exactly. Like, I actually kind of know what's roughly going on in the sports world, even though I never would have wanted to have known this, but actually it's not that offensive knowing it at the moment.
No. It's like, I don't care, but it's like, I don't care to know, but I don't care that I don't know either, so.
Yeah, that's fair. So should we go ahead and move this over to recommendations? Fine. So I'm going to go ahead and recommend the new Cher album.
Ooh, who's that?
So Cher has a new album of ABBA covers. And yes, it is as gay as you think it is. But my God, it's like surprisingly, like, I love ABBA. I really like Cher. But man, she does really good renditions of these Cher songs. And she makes me care about, she does really great renditions of these ABBA songs. And she makes me care about ABBA songs that I didn't ever really pay much attention to, like Chiquitita. The dogs next door are totally barking, and you're going to hear this. It's fine. My next door neighbors have these asshole dogs. And the neighbors themselves will call the dogs assholes and be like, "Shut up, you assholes."
Anyway, every time they start barking, I almost yell my dog's name. Like, every time I hear it, I'm outside, and they start barking, I'm almost like, "Indy!" Like, I almost
get
context, or just out of, like, my own environment, I'm just scream his name for no, like, so I feel like I'm just used to yelling at him for barking.
Totally. And Mitchell and I have Cher tickets. She's coming to town in February, so we'll let you know then how it is in concert. Neither one of us have seen her in concert, but I will say the record is good.
You have it on record?
Yes. I listened to my LP on Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mitchell.
So what?
What do you recommend?
So I actually got everything finalized through work today. So my recommendation is that you either participate or help support somebody this year in the Extra Life campaign. So it's on November 3rd, and it's a whole bunch of nerds who are hopefully streaming so you can watch them either play video games or play any form of game really for 24 hours straight.
They can be tabletop role-playing games or board games or computer games. Most people seem to be video games.
Yeah, most people it's video games. A couple of my friends have done it in the past, and I've played with them, just kind of unofficially off the record. Basically, it's kind of like similar but not as serious to like pledging somebody for like a marathon or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's more of just like a, hey, I'm going to donate and you're going to do this in return. It's not like a in support of necessarily.
Sure.
But so we've got a whole bunch of us at work. We got it cleared through like our employee and people to make sure it was like legal for us to put our name on something together, and it was fine.
And is this happening on a weekday? Is this?
No, it's a Saturday.
It's a Saturday.
So I don't know if I'm going to do. Like,
I don't know if it's going to count as your volunteer, because I know you get volunteer days.
No, I don't think that counts as something I can do. So I don't know if I'm going to do like midnight to midnight or not.
Oh, you can pick?
Yeah, you can pick. It's not very. It actually doesn't even have to be that day, but that's like a day that's the day that like most people are going to do it. But it doesn't even have to be that day. It's not this strict thing. But like I think 95 or 99 even % of people are going to do it on that day.
And I gotta say, whenever, like, I went to a 24-hour horror film convention. I've been to, like, 24-hour things before. And my experience is if you starting it at midnight, in my experience, is a bad idea.
Yeah, I'm thinking
because you're already staying up until midnight to start it.
That's true.
So wake up early and run it from like 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. Because that is waking up early and staying up late. We've all woken up as early as 6 a.m. and we've all stayed up as late as 6 a.m.
Right. That's what I was thinking. I'll probably try to get 8 hours of sleep and wake up at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Or even if I did 7 or 8, it's not that big of a difference either.
Sure.
But it's all, basically the money is getting donated to a lot of different children's hospitals. Okay. And it's all very specific to where you live. So mine will be going to University Hospitals, like the Rainbow Children's Hospital here in Cleveland.
If somebody who's listening wants to support your Extra Life effort, do you want to put that information out there?
Yeah, I can put it up on our media as we get closer, or when this episode comes out or something. Mm-hmm. So then all of us, where I work, we're all going to be on a team together, and we have like a team goal too. Yeah. And like teams get like ranked and everything across the country. Mm-hmm. But some of them are like just teams that aren't even of people that even know each other. There's like other ridiculous teams that probably raise like half of the money together. Sure. It's like, oh, whatever this team is. Yeah, it's something that I would want a reason to play video games for 24 hours, and at least money that goes directly to something good and not like a charity that you have to second guess whether or not, like it's just literally going straight to the hospital.
Are you going to be streaming yours?
Yeah, I'm going to stream mine on Twitch.
Okay.
But yeah, so either participate or donate to somebody. It doesn't have to be me.
Cool. I like it.
So what are you going to your topic on next time?
Well, you already know. I've already told you.
I don't remember.
Yes, you do. You really don't?
I don't think so.
Come on.
Are you going to tell everybody?
Remember somebody told us that somebody like gave us a warning against it?
Oh, God, yeah.
It's the House of Wills.
Yeah.
So my next episode will be on the House of Wills, and we will be learning all about it. Because at the moment, all I know is that it's supposedly a haunted house, that the guy who runs it is supposedly a Satanist, but also when I marked myself as being interested in attending it, somebody's like, oh, don't go to that. That guy's like a neo-Nazi wife beater. So who knows if any of that's true or not, but I will start researching this and let you guys know all about the House of Wills on the next episode.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
You know, I thought of, we'd never say the name of our podcast ever.
Oh, yeah. You're listening to the Cleveland podcast.
By the way.
By the way.
Do people like listen to, do people who listen to like a whole bunch of random podcasts just kind of like have them on
like shuffle?
Like not like a shuffle, but like a way to where it kind of like rotates through other ones and they don't know what they're listening to? Because I'm not like that at all. Like when I'm listening to something, like I fucking know exactly what I'm listening to. Yeah. I guess that's like me being an asshole and saying, if you didn't know this was Cleveland podcast, because we never say our name, then that's on you.
I don't know, because I listen to podcasts through the iPhone podcast app, and you kind of have to know, like you have to click on it.
Right.
So at least through that format, you know what you're listening to. But I'm not familiar with like Stitcher or the listening to apps. I listen to podcasts through like the Google Play app. So maybe some people are just kind of have it on shuffle or have like they're just listening to like what they've subscribed to.
I think that's what I'm getting at. Like if maybe there's a way you can just listen to what you subscribe through and it kind of shuffles.
I would imagine they know who we are though, but possibly you're right. Like maybe we should be a little more upfront about.
I was just thinking about that the other day.
Yeah, because also I think about it and like on my other two podcasts, one like in the intro it's like you are listening to Spellberg, and on the other one I'm like, hi, welcome back to the Appendix N Book Club. This is episode 33 on Poul Anderson's The High Crusade. Like we're very formal on those two shows.
And this we're like, hey.
Yeah.
Are we recording?
And for the record, like, you know, I actually just like hit record literally before Mitchell had any idea like we were about to today. So I was just kind of being a jerk today because it's fun to be a jerk.
Sure.
And it's fun to give this cutie a hard time.
Sure. All right. We've got horror movies to watch, so everybody have a good October. Go see Halloween when it comes out. I'm saying this before it comes out, that it's going to be a good movie.
That's true.
So we can look back on this and laugh if I'm wrong, but...
And also see Suspiria, even though some critics are not giving it very good reviews.
Yeah, it's coming back bad.
But now, do we still like our fuck you Cleveland, but in a good way, or do we not like that anymore?
I don't know.
I kind of like it.
All right, well, fuck you, Cleveland.
But in a good way.
Bye.